Hi, this is Kyle from Shoreline Sailboats, and we decided to try a new method of repairing sunfish bottoms. Here's an old method that we had seen that's been around for a while. It's repairing the whole section with new material, and a lot of people have done this way. But we figured if we try a little easier method, it might be quicker. And so we're going to use fiberglass battens to repair. We're going to start with a small area of damage just to see if this works. So we removed this small piece here that was leaking because it had been struck possibly on a rock. And using a Dremel tool, cut around it, removed it, and then you can see that it's delaminated somewhat in the bottom, so it was leaking through the fiberglass mesh. And here's a close-up of that. And looking back, here's a close-up of how rough the outside was. Now, we could probably soak it and fill it, but we're going to give this experiment a try. So we taped over it, over the hole, flipped it over, prepared it from the inside, and then we had it probably stronger than it was originally. Now here we are taking fiberglass battens, like sail battens, and we're going to cut those to length so they go underneath this edge of the hole. And in here we're going to hold these on with clips and put epoxy them in place, so when we're done, they look about like this. So there's kind of inside cleats that can hold this patch. You could do more supports, but we decided to go this way. Here we are cleaning off the gel coat, digging down into it a little bit with a Dremel tool prior to gluing it in place, so we know that we have a ridge deep enough to put fiberglass over it when the repair is in place. And blocking it in place, we epoxy the whole patch right onto the cleats, and then here we are, we laid down some fiberglass just wide enough to cover up the actual original cut. And you can see this is basically how it is once it hardened. And here's another shot of it, kind of close up. You can see that it's not proud of the actual, it's not sticking up higher than the actual surrounding gel coat, which is great. And here's an image of it kind of cleaned up a little bit just with a sander, knocked down the high spots so that it's ready to fill. The crack itself has been filled in with epoxy and cloth and kind of leveled out a little bit. And you could throw it back in the water just like that if you wanted to, if it was just a recreational boat. Here we are adding some filler material so we can sand this later. And structurally, it's very rigid, seems just like the original hull itself. And you can see from the side, we don't have much we have to do to level this out. Here's a picture of it after we applied some polyurethane paint to the bottom. You can see the first coat, you can still see the patch through it, but after a couple more coats, you won't be able to see it at all. And in our next experiment, we want to see about a big crack in a hull. So we've got this crack that runs the whole, probably at least 2 feet of the hull, right about there. It's underneath the what people call the tub or the footwell, and it's looking at the bottom of the sunfish. What we're going to do is glue cleats to the bottom of the crack here. So we're looking at the side of the hull. I'm going to glue a cleat here, possibly here, 4 of them maybe, and then attach a board to the top. So when I do the cut and I remove that piece, it doesn't change the geometry of it at all. And here is the piece lifted off the hull. This is just taking it up. There's the cleats, there's the board on top. To look at it from the side, what I plan on doing is, here's the side profile of the chunk that I'm going to take out. There'll be glued a cleat here, and on top there's a board right here. It's looking at right at the end of the profile, so you can see the keel. Now I'm going to flip it over, just like that, put it on top of the bench, and set that board that was glued on the top with these little cleats so that the profile fits right down in here, and then I can repair the inside of the crack instead of working on the outside. Once I do that, flip it back over with our battens, glue it in place like our first boat here, and so it should look somewhat like the smaller repair.